Now part of the Darkcast Network. Welcome to Indie Podcasts with a dark side. In today's episode, we talk about a case of a mother who gave her son way too many excuses. What happens when the writing's on the wall, but you refuse to read it? You suffer the actions of your consequences, or do other people suffer them? It's the case of Amarjeet Sada, right now on Love and Murder. Welcome everyone, welcome to a new episode of Love and Murder, the weekly true crime podcast discussing relationships gone terribly wrong, where our motto is, you're either someone's last love or their first murder. I am your host, Kai, and in today's episode, we are talking about serial killer, children, and mothers who are delusionally optimistic about a child that you can clearly see has an issue. But first, I'd like to remind you that this episode is sponsored by My Lambs in Patreon, patreon.com/love and murder. Without your continued support, I wouldn't be able to do this. So, thank you. Speaking of Patreon, if you want to have episodes without an intro, without commercials, and with so many other benefits, come on and join us over at patreon.com/love and murder. I'll tell you more about Patreon after the show. In the meantime, though, grab your butts, grab your apple juice, and let's get into some love and murder. In 2007, India ended up having a world record for something that you wouldn't even believe. Amarjeet Sada's parents were so very happy when he was born. They had a son. They were just insanely happy when he was born, and they thought their family was complete. He was described as being a very temperamental boy with a very bad temper. He often threw a lot of temper tantrums, often got angry very easily, and had little patience. Because he was the only boy, he was very, very spoiled, and his mother was the main one to spoil him. Over time, when children would invite Amarjeet to play, he agreed to it less and less. Soon, his parents noticed that he was just a quiet, lonely boy, but by choice. He would just sit in one place, staring off into space, wouldn't play with all the rest of the kids, and this is how he liked it. One day when Amarjeet was 7, his aunt came to visit her sister, Amarjeet's mother. She asked her if she could do her a favor because they were in the middle of moving and they had a newborn baby, 7 months old, but they had an infant. Could she watch the baby while the family moved? Parul, which is Amarjeet's mother, asked for how long? And her sister Mina said, could you watch him for a month? After some negotiation, because, she didn't feel like she could raise a child right now, even if it's just for a month. She didn't have enough money for food, time, everything like that. So after some negotiations, she agreed to the terms, let her sister's son stay with her for a month while they moved and got themselves situated. At first, everything seemed to be going well. She was able to take care of the baby. Amarjeet was being very friendly towards the baby, very curious, just, whenever you're the youngest or the most spoiled children don't usually think they're spoiled. But anyway, whenever you're the youngest or the spoiled one and somebody comes in and takes the attention from your mom, you're usually looking at that baby, trying to emulate the baby, trying to figure out how to get the attention back on you. So with Amarjeet, he didn't do any of that. He was just very curious about the baby. He played with the baby. Everything was going fine. One day, his mom had to go out to the market, and she asked him to watch the baby. Now, I know in the United States, we normally don't do this, leave a seven-year-old with a baby, but don't judge. This is in our country. And I'm speaking to those of you who are in the United States as myself. I wouldn't judge because different countries, different customs, they do different things. So she left the baby with Amarjeet and told Amarjeet to watch the baby while she went to the grocery or to the store. It was some kind of store. It doesn't really say if it was a grocery store or clothing store. She had to go to a store. When the mother got back, it was really quiet, and Amarjeet was just sitting there playing with his toys and everything like that. And when she asked where was the baby, at first he didn't answer her. He just kept playing with his toy, and she asked him a couple more times, and then he finally looked up at her and smiled and said, "I killed him. I smashed his head with a brick." Actually, quote, "I smashed his head with a brick." Then he proudly took his mother out to the yard where he had buried the baby. He showed her the fresh grave he had dug and thrown the baby in there. When his father came home, the mother told the father what happened, and the father slapped Amarjeet and was just like, how could you have done this? So basically, Amarjeet said right after his mom left, he went to the baby and started pinching the baby. And the baby obviously woke up and started crying. And as the cries grew louder, Amarjeet started like pulling on his ears and everything like this, which only makes the cries grow louder. And he could not take the crying. He's like, "I can't stand this noise. This is no." So he started trying to choke the baby. And I guess from the choking, it escalated to smashing his head with a brick. Now, remember, Amarjeet is only 7. So, of course, a month later, Meena comes. She's expecting her child healthy and safe. She left it in the care of her sister, who better to keep your child safe. And the sister told her, "Yeah, your child is no longer with us." And told Meena that it was an accident. Your child died accidentally, XYZ happened, and said it was completely accidental. And she begged her not to call the police. "We swear it was this is what they said. We promise this was an accident. Please don't call the police. I'm so sorry for your loss," everything like that. So basically, this is teaching Amarjeet one thing. He could get away with murder, and his mother would cover for him. A year after this incident, Parul had a baby girl. Uh-oh. Now another baby's in the house. And although the rest of the family loved the baby, as who wouldn't love the baby, Amarjeet just couldn't connect with her. He didn't understand why she was here. He would just sit and watch her, just sit and stare at her. And he just didn't understand why she was here. What does she have to do with him? Does she serve a purpose for him? Nothing. He couldn't understand it. Mind you, right now he's 8. One day, his mother went for a nap and asked Amarjeet to watch his baby sister. Now, first time, maybe is an accident. Maybe I could chalk that up to an accident. I mean, the way he responded, I wouldn't have. But, okay. But I'm never leaving another baby with him again. That's just, I understand that's my child and everything, but I'm never leaving another baby with him again. But I guess she decided her child is best child she knows, so he made a mistake. It was an accident. She convinced herself, I bet you, that it was an accident. And so she did it again. And when she woke up, of course, the baby girl was dead, with Amarjeet standing over it with a smile on his face. As any rational parents would do, they beat the crap out of him. After he did this horrible act that was the parents' fault because the mother, she left him with the baby. The most rational thing you could do after that is beat him, right? Anyways, so they beat him and asked him why he did this, and he just said, quote, "Just like that." Basically, he likes doing it. That's what it means. Now, everybody who knows about the incident is telling them, take him to the police. If I were them, I'd be saying, take him to a psychiatrist. Something. Take him somewhere. Get him out of your house and take him to go get help. But his parents were like, no, he's a good kid. Just, he got too angry. Maybe the baby was crying too much. It's all an accident. He's okay. Giving him more and more reason to do this again because he keeps getting away with it. Also, after he killed the baby, he did ask, quote, "What wrong have I done in killing her?" So yeah, he needs a psychiatrist. So his parents found out very early on that he didn't experience guilt. He didn't experience remorse. And what he did experience was pleasure in taking the life from somebody. Now that word got out, everyone in his little town did not leave their kids out around him, didn't leave their kids by themselves, because his parents aren't doing anything about it. And he's just going around killing babies willy-nilly. And the parents aren't doing anything. So they decided that, I'm going to keep my child with me. I'm going to be vigilant. We're going to stay away from Amarjeet and his family. One day, Amarjeet was walking past one of the schools in the village, and he heard a baby crying. So he went out to look for the sound, and he found a baby inside of one of the classrooms, but the classroom was empty. Nobody was there with the baby, and the child was just wrapped up in some blankets. Amarjeet took the baby to the forest next to the school, placed the baby carefully on the grass, picked up a large rock, and smashed the baby's head with the rock, which killed the baby instantly. Then he buried her in the grass and walked away. When the mother came back to the school, she saw her child wasn't there. She searched and searched, couldn't find her child. Of course, she's out of her mind with worry. Where's my baby? Where's my baby? I left my baby right here. She asked everybody. One person said, I thought I saw someone who looked like Amarjeet with your baby walking out of the school, which then begs my question, well, why didn't you stop him? If you know the story of Amarjeet, he's 8. You could take him. He only kills little children. Why didn't you run and stop this boy? Why did you just let him go and be like, that looks like Amarjeet. Okay, anyway, is the rice done? Why didn't you stop him? So the mother of the baby ran to the police, told the police everything that this little boy had done, and told the police also what the witness had said. So when the police went and picked up Amarjeet, the mother saw him as he was going into the police station, and she starts screaming at him, "Where's my daughter?" And Amarjeet didn't answer. So Inspector Kumar asked him, "Amarjeet Sada, did you kill the baby?" And the boy said, well, give me a packet of cookies and then I'll tell you. So the police is looking at him he's this is an 8-year-old. This is now when it's really dawning on him that this adult could be telling the truth and this 8-year-old could have done this. So he sent for the packet of cookies. He actually sent for 2 packets of cookies and gave it to Amarjeet. And Amarjeet said, quote, "She slept at the school. I took her away a bit and killed her with a stone and buried her." So police were like, "Well, can you show us where you buried her?" So he said, sure. While eating his cookies, he walked police to where he buried the baby. And when they asked him if he'd done this before, he said, yeah, of course. I killed my sister. I killed my cousin. Yeah. With my cousin, I started choking him and he wouldn't stop crying. So I bashed him in the head with a rock. With my sister, I just wanted to kill her. So I strangled her till she just stopped moving. And then this was the 3rd time. So he was happy and he relived each moment. He told them everything he did. He didn't forget anything. So of course they arrested him, charged him with murder, and got him to a team of psychiatrists, which when they examined him, they said he suffered from, quote, conduct disorder, which is a behavioral disorder that you get pleasure from inflicting pain on other people or even killing people that are weaker than yourself. They also said he was also unable to know the difference between right and wrong. And this is kind of the behavior you usually see in serial killers. There are several serial killers with these kind of diagnoses. According to these doctors, I'm not saying this is accurate, but according to these doctors, they said that these actions were because of a chemical imbalance in his brain, which could also be hereditary. So basically, he doesn't need to reproduce. He doesn't need to have any children. And interestingly enough, these factors that cause this type of aggression can allegedly be identified during your childhood, and it can be treated before they develop into acts of physical violence. And this is not what Amarjeet's parents did, his mother in particular. Instead, she fed into it. which is the opposite of what you want to do with these kind of people. But when he did it the first time, she fed into it. When he had bouts of anger before he killed someone, she fed into it. She just kept feeding the flame, which is not what you're supposed to do. So here, this is the product of what you decided to do. And the psychiatrist also said if he hadn't been caught at this time and turned in, he would have escalated. With each murder, it would have gotten worse, and his mental state would have deteriorated and made him, quote, an uncontrollable serial killer. So like I said, he was actually charged with all 3 murders, but due to the law, because he was only 8, he couldn't be tried as an adult, so they didn't convict him of his crimes. So he went into what in the U.S., I guess the U.S.'s version of juvie. So he went into juvie for 10 years until he reached 18. And when he was 18, they let him out because that's what happens. You aged out. Sometimes, you know what? I can't say sometimes. I don't know of any incidents where you've gone straight from juvie to prison. Like straight without any don't pass go, anything like that. You just went straight from juvie to prison. Now, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, you let me know in the comments below. But I can't think of any time that I heard of a case where someone went straight from juvie to prison. I think they had to reopen their case or, put it under reconsideration, what they were going to do or whatever. But I've never heard of that. So for the first 3 years that he was there, they put him in solitary confinement and gave him medication and psychiatric counseling. But solitary confinement, really? I mean, I guess, because I was going to say there's nobody there that would be weaker than him, which is his MO, right? So doesn't solitary confinement make you even more mentally unstable? But I guess for the safety of everybody else, because maybe he would have started killing people that were his age. If he doesn't have the victims that he usually goes after, maybe he would have escalated to somebody his own age or bigger. He would have found a way. So I guess for the safety of everybody, they put him in solitary confinement. But at least they didn't just leave him there. They were giving him counseling and they were giving him medication. However, it's not documented and it's unknown if they were successful in helping him. So like I said, he was released when he turned 18. So that was in 2016. And guess what they did? They gave him a new identity. So people are thinking that he's called Amarjeet now, but he's out. He's literally out in the world and he has a clean identity. Nobody knows where he is. Nobody knows if he's still getting help. Nobody knows if the help that he did get actually did help. Like, he's just out. So right now he's 25 years old, possibly named Amarjeet. Who knows where he is? He might not even be in India anymore. Nobody's watching him. I don't know. That's crazy. That's insane. And they just let him out into the world. And literally he's a grown man now. So his MO of anybody weaker than him could be literally anybody. And that is the case of India getting the world record for having the youngest serial killer ever, between 7 and 8 years old. So what do you think about this case? Do you think it was totally his parents' fault that he turned out the way he did? Specifically the mother. I'm going to go ahead and put out a poll asking that. Do you think it's the mother's fault that he literally turned into a serial killer? So I want to hear your thoughts on this. You can answer the poll. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Or you could join our Facebook group, which the link to the Facebook group is below. You can also, my personal preference, join us over in the Lamb Patreon. Patreon.com/love and murder. We have a lot of dialogue over there, and we'd love for you to come in and join in on the conversation. We have plans starting at only $3 a month donation. Right now, for the $3 a month, you get commercial-free episodes, no intro, extras of the episodes. So if there's pictures, if there's case files, if there are videos, you get all of that. And also, brand new, you get the weekly Kai Rant segment. All of this for only $3 a month donation. If you want anything extra, bonus episodes, you can go up in your tier. But you can start off at $3 a month donation. And don't forget that by the end of 2024, I'm trying to get to 500 Lamb Patreons. So you'd also be helping me out. www.patreon.com/loveandmurder. So after you've gone ahead and joined, don't forget to share this episode. It's a free and easy way that you can help me out. Just hit the share button right now while you're listening and share with your mom, share with your dad, share with your friends, share with your dog, share with your brother, share with your sister, share on your social media, share. And as always, I end each episode by reminding you that it's, say it with me now, all love and no murder, y'all. Bye.